High-profile cases appear for mention in court. Police commissioner called for expatriate driver to lay complaint. And Manam Islanders face starvation due to drought.
This is National EMTV News with Hope Imaka.
Good evening and thank you for joining me for Monday's news. Justice Gibbs Salika's courtroom was full of high-profile individuals this morning who appeared for mention on various charges, most of which were involved for abuse of office. Two of them were current MPs, Western Governor Ati Wabiro and Bogia MP John Hickey. The others were Travel owner Eremas Wartoto, former Police Commissioner Jeffrey Vaki and Western Province Acting Provincial Administrator Dr. Madoa Gumoy.
All these individuals appeared in person before the Deputy Chief Justice this morning and heard firsthand that their cases have been adjourned to March the 7th this year. Eremas Wartoto appeared on 4 different cases that involved conspiracy, misappropriation, false pretense and money laundering. His bail has been extended to the 7th of March. Former Police Commissioner Jeffrey Vaki's mention was extended to the same date because his lawyer did not show up this morning. His case involves attempting to pervert the course of justice and abuse of office. For the Western Province public figures, both the governor and the acting provincial administrator appeared on the same counts of misappropriation, conspiracy to defraud, and abuse of office. Their trial date has been set for March the 7th and will be heard by the Daru National Court. John Hickey appeared on counts of official corruption, abuse of office and misappropriation, and stealing. Lawyers for Hickey and the state are ordered to prepare and file pre-trial review statements and review bail conditions from the district to the National Court. Hickey's bail has also been extended to March the 7th, which will be when a pre-trial conference will also be heard on the matter. Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Police Commissioner Gary Baki is appealing to the expatriate driver who filmed the traffic police officer asking for a bribe at a roadblock in Port Moresby to come forward. Baki's comment follows a backlash from the public on the video that went viral on social media. He is now asking the expatriate driver to lay an official complaint at any police station in the NCD command in order for police to proceed with the investigation.
Commissioner Baki said he has not watched the video himself, but is aware of the incident. He said though the incident occurred last year, he has declared 2016 as a year of discipline and says the case will be treated like any other serious offences committed by police officers.
The best thing to do is the similar situation as we had for the condom saga. I want to make an make an appeal to this to whoever this gentleman is, the expatriate gentleman who has been coerced into being requested to pay some money. If he doesn't want to come and talk to me directly, maybe he could relay his identity through David Conn, who's the chairman of the Port Moresby Chamber of Commerce, president of the Port Moresby Chamber of Commerce.
A suspect officer was apprehended by police last Friday in relation to the incident. However, formal police investigation will only be conducted upon a complaint. At the moment, no complaint has been registered, which is why the investigation is slow.
It carries over in 2016 for us to deal with it. So my appeal is for him to come forward to me.
Baki says the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary is working towards creating a good image for the police force. Takla Gunga, National EMTV News.
A senior judge in Morobe says there is a growing concern on the bad behavior of a minority in the disciplinary forces in the country. Justice Don Sawong made these remarks following the opening of the legal year in Leh. He said the lack of discipline in doing the right thing goes beyond boundaries and professions.
Sawon told members of the law and justice sector that over the past several years, there have been reports of bad behavior by a few members of the disciplinary forces. In the RPNGC, the police commissioner Gary Baki announced 2016 as the year of discipline for the police force. Baki's orders points out serious issues of the lack of discipline within the police force. Someone asked why there are increasing incidents of ill discipline committed every year. Despite many policemen and women have been charged and dismissed from the police force, this kind of attitude still remains. Justice Don Sawon has recommended selection and training of personnel be reviewed, adding the training of personnel in the disciplinary forces should be at least 12 months and selection should come from grade 12 graduates. Currently, the new recruits undergo a 12 months training before they graduate. Sawon also reminded personnel of the oath they took and to serve with honesty. The ill discipline is not only evident in the disciplinary forces. Some lawyers' behaviors also leave a lot to be desired. Adding some of the lawyers' acts are of criminal nature, it is important that they are reminded of the oaths they took. Martha Lewis, National EMTV News, Leh.
Several armed men held up a school principal at Leh's Nadzab Airport this afternoon and stole 130,000 kina from him. The criminals reportedly dressed up in police uniforms and stole a shotgun from airport police, which they then used in the robbery. Police sources said the men then made off with the cash on a vehicle, which was then abandoned about a kilometer from the airport. Police are hunting these suspects. This is the second such incident in 2 years. The first happened in December 2014. The Waigani Committal Court heard this morning that police served court files to former Lands and Planning Secretary Ramili Kilapat and 2 former lands officers. They are Vavina Wallo, who was the department's finance and budget manager, and Simeon Andrew, the former corporate director. 3 were charged for 1 count each of conspiracy and misappropriation last year.
The 3 appeared before senior magistrate Cosmos Bidar, with 1 lawyer representing the former secretary and another representing both Wallo and Andrew. Both lawyers confirmed the files were served to their clients. However, Timothy Cooper, the lawyer who appeared for Wallo and Andrew, argued that the files were incomplete. Cooper said the file was missing some bank statements and requested if they can be made available. However, Magistrate Bidar said the accused cannot tell the prosecutor what evidence to provide before the courts. Magistrate Bidar explained that if the committal courts rule that there is sufficient evidence to move the matter to the National Court, then the accused has the right to submit statements or affidavits under Section 96 of the District Court Act. The 3 were alleged to have conspired to defraud the state and applied to use over 200,000 kina from the Land Reform Trust account. The incident was reported to have occurred in October last year. All 3 are out on a 2,000 kina bail each and will return to court on March 8. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The driver of a semi-trailer in Port Moresby escaped death today after his cabin caught flames as a result of heated engine. The vehicle was on its way towards Hohola from Konedobu when the engine burst into flames on the Poraporana freeway. It is understood the driver was traveling alone and did not sustain any injuries. Much has been said about relief supplies from the government reaching the volcano-displaced Manam Islanders in the Medang province, but that's only after eruptions like the minor eruption last year. In fact, the people have been displaced since 2004 and have been living at care centers in Bogia since then, away from their island home. MTV's Rachel Shise in Medang visited all 3 care centers and found out about the hardships they face day to day.
Forced away from their island home, the volcanic Manam Island, they were moved to 3 different locations: the Portsdam, the Asarumba, and the Mangam care centers. Care centers, yes, but are they being cared for?
Now me prestava true. Morning me play sa kai. Lobel me play sa kai. Lobin me play sa kai. All greens. Kini blomi ay mangra no mo karay lo angri. Ni alpi mem pasolo dislay wara blomi.
Even also trasis brook. This la bus no blomi. How buy me panim set trasis. Even dress blow mama brook. How buy me panim clothes. Hey, Mr. 12 years lawyer now.
With the national elections just around the corner, the Manam Islanders are worried that the government is deserting them and the candidates may only be running back to them for power.
Mipla Papua New Guinea. Prime Minister masigat concern lo mipla. Medeng government man monil government. All put him back sad lo mipla. All pikinin work lo. I run up and down. Na mipla papa mama tol sa.
School has begun.
How about picking back go to school? One day, keke, morning so bempla keke na abinu bempla panisam bempla lili banana kulo paya na keke nasta.
Life away from their island home began in the year 2004. That's 12 years ago. Now these are a group of internally displaced people, and according to the Provincial Disaster Office, they should be nurtured by the national and the provincial governments. Rachel Shise, National EMTV News, Madang.
Among stories after the break, dedication services for public servants and bilateral talks between PNG and India. I'll be back with the details. Welcome back to the news. A group of families, relatives and friends of inmates from Lae's Buemo jail have complained against CS officers' approach to visiting duties. Last Saturday, the group arrived at Buemo Correctional Institute only to be told by duty CS officers to go away after bringing dishes of food and water for their loved ones imprisoned. The group, comprising mostly of women or mothers, are now calling on the Morobe provincial government to look into such public behavior displayed by CS officers. Most that arrived at the jail center were relatives of inmates on remand cases. Provincial and Local Government Affairs Assistant Secretary Dixon Guina has encouraged his employees to be innovative in order to deliver changes. Mr. Guina said with a positive mindset, vital government services can be implemented to the people in rural areas. He said this during the opening year of the Department of Provincial and Local Level Government Working Year in Port Moresby.
The Department of Provincial and Local Level Government Affairs officially commenced its 2016 working year today with a dedication service. The department's acting secretary, Dixon Guina, welcomed staff and announced the department's new task for the year with a prayer by Pastor Cameron Wari. Mr. Guina said 2016 will be a challenging year, and to deliver changes, they must be focused and work together with government agencies to deliver government services.
We are here to serve the government. We're here to serve the people of our nation. More than 7 million plus people in this nation. We need to serve them. We are a department called Provincial and Local Level Government.
He emphasized that this department is here to give solutions and not problems, and in order to do that, they must have the following qualities: pride to deliver, passion and integrity to serve, professional in conduct and pace. One of the key areas to achieve the priorities of this organization is to work in line with the 89 District Authority Act.
We are a department of provincial and local government. There is no divisions, there is no sections, or there is no, I don't know, whatever you call it. We are a department. So I expect to see all working as a department.
He said the main focus for the department this year will be the district authorities, 2017 general elections, organic law review and rural service delivery project. Mr. Guina said through partnerships with government agencies and stakeholders concerned, vital government services will be delivered to the people. Eric Arupman, National EMTV News.
The Ahi Council of Women in Lae wants to go into business, and they have been encouraged to form a cooperative. Lae is expanding into 3 more growth centers, hence the Morobe provincial government wants to empower women to own businesses and take part in the economic boom.
Women from 5 villages and 12 settlements within Ahi boundaries want to start businesses. They are getting provincial government support to do so. Last week, close to 6,000 kina was presented to the council, and the promise of a new bus.
I know got place more long. Can make him garden or not something long. Look out the family. Look plant the long run the family. The city and grow one tap now.
Ley will grow in the next 10 years. 4 growth centers are expected to emerge by 2050. One in Igam, another in Ley, and one in Nadzab. Land is becoming scarce. Jobs in the industries are also rare. The Ahi women say future in business, but they need support.
The more good people government can help him so that Mipla can make him plant a good plus something inside long, helping family and a community as well.
Now you try long, making some work now.
The provincial government and the Ley District Development Authority now speak about cooperatives as a way to empower its people. Small interested groups have been encouraged by the provincial government and the Ley District Authority to form cooperatives. The Morobe provincial government will be buying buses for those cooperatives interested in going into the transport sector. The government will also provide help for those cooperatives looking for seed money to start their business. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News, Ley.
Nicholas Daku, the Agriculture Minister in the autonomous Bougainville government, says avenues for economic recovery must be discussed as a political agenda. He said the autonomous Bougainville government must start to invest in agriculture because he believes this will be a driving force for economic recovery.
Agriculture Minister Nicholas Daku speaking at the recent Bougainville Cocoa Project Inception meeting in the autonomous region highlighted the importance of the agriculture industry and its economic benefits. Mr. Daku said that agriculture is one driving force for Bougainville's economic recovery. It will help to raise the internal revenue. Agriculture is a renewable resource and Bougainville should develop agricultural commodities to raise its much-needed funds and not waste time talking about Panguna mine. The Agriculture Minister said Bougainville should also explore other commodities such as coffee, fisheries, forestry and oil palm to generate income to support its economic growth. In this way, it will improve the income per capita for wealth and sustainability. If the agriculture sector is improved, then farming methods should also be looked at. Mr. Daku called on youths in the autonomous region to start thinking about farming so that they can contribute to Bougainville's economic recovery. Fabian Hakalitz, National EMTV News.
And now looking at our finance news. The Kina closed unchanged at $0.3295 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.3220 $0.4516 Australian dollars, €0.2858 and 37.37 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, cocoa and copper closed the day higher. Crude oil and copper closed lower, while palm oil closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 212 points higher, the ASX closed at 20 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 17 points higher. Governor Jufa talks about his Take Back PNG campaign and stories making headlines overseas when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Oro Governor Gary Jufa has begun a campaign called Take Back PNG. The campaign is a call for Papua New Guineans to be more actively involved in the country's economy. Mr. Jufa has received both negative and positive feedback to his campaign. In an exclusive interview with MTV, Governor Gary Jufa talked on his Take Back PNG campaign.
The Take Back PNG campaign has been something Governor Gary Jufa has wanted to initiate to allow Papua New Guineans to take part in the economy of Papua New Guinea. The campaign will hold seminars by Mr. Jufa talking on patriotism and how to get involved in the development of the country.
Take Back PNG campaign is an effort to try to promote patriotism. It's an effort to try to promote ownership of our problems, the problems that we see and face, and an effort to try to own our economy and to own our future, therefore.
This is not a safe, hygienic place to prepare food.
Mr. Jufa said that he has been criticized that the campaign is racist and dictatorial after he and the health inspector went to inspect a fast food store in Popondetta. He says that he is only weeding out non-genuine business houses in Oro that do not wish to comply with the law and health regulations.
It is not a racist or discriminatory effort. That's what I want to clarify here. And we can't do this alone. We will always need partners. No economy has been able to develop and flourish without partners. Partners that come in who are genuine, who are willing to invest, who are willing to take the risk, and who are willing to commit. But for us, what is most important in this is that they must also be willing to respect our laws.
Mr. Jufa also said that this leads on to the issue on how such business houses received licensing and passed health inspections for how many years they had been in business in the country. Also on the fact that most foreign-owned businesses have managers and supervisors who don't speak English, yet hold high positions, questioning how they communicate with citizens.
Business houses in Popondetta, for example, that I recently went and inspected. I went there with a health inspector, by the way, and an officer from the administration. I didn't just walk in there by myself, as one of the open members is claiming. And he says that it's dictatorial. It's not dictatorial. It is me standing up for my people, for my country.
Mr. Jufa says that the countrymen and women in Papua New Guinea lack true patriotism and needs to stand up for their country in times of needs and do something when they see something is wrong.
As far as I'm concerned, we are not as nationalistic and as patriotic as we think we are. We're not, you know. And that's possibly because we have never gone through situations that have brought us together.
Adelaide Sirox-Kari, National EMTV News.
New Island Governor Sir Julius Chan says the province is open for any business. He is inviting businesses with development partners to explore opportunities available in the province.
Sir Julius Chan, the provincial governor, has reaffirmed that New Island is serious in embracing business opportunities. Speaking at the recent meeting in Port Moresby, Sir Julius said, and focus is to improve infrastructure, income-generating opportunities for people, education and other services. Meanwhile, the New Island provincial government has also endorsed several policy papers, elevation of all high schools to secondary level with intention of renaming all to colleges, establishment of a provincial election steering committee, New Island provincial administration restructure, land portions in Caving Town, and composition and funding for a working committee for the Provincial Women's Council. Others include the completion of 2014 old age and disabled payment and grant acquittals to 3 mainline churches in the province. Projects implemented in the province on roads and solar lights distribution were also discussed. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
India wants to give more substance to its bilateral relationship with Papua New Guinea. The new Indian High Commissioner to PNG, Nagendra Kumar Saxena, said this during a recent media conference in Port Moresby. Mr. Saxena said the government of India has already approved a line of credit of $100 million, of which $30 million is for the National Court in Mount Hagen and $70 million for the Medang-Baya Highway.
The new High Commissioner of India to PNG has been in office for 4 months. In this time, he has seen that while India has a diplomatic mission in PNG and PNG has one in New Delhi, there has not been a real harmonious development of bilateral relations.
We want to give more substance to our bilateral relationship. Government of India has already approved a line of credit of $100 million, of which $30 million is for National Court in Mount Hagen, and $70 million is for Medang-Baya Highway.
India has plans to gifting an ICT lab to the University of PNG and establishing an Institute of Sustainable Marine and Coastal Research, among many other projects. Mr. Saxena also announced that the President of India will be visiting PNG this year, where a number of MOUs are expected to be signed. He said the government of India has also provided a significant sum of money for pharmaceutical prescription for HIV patients in PNG, including the equipment used to test and monitor HIV for 1 year.
Government of India is also providing 7.2 million pharmaceutical prescriptions this year for all the registered HIV patients in PNG, and all the ancillary equipment that is required to monitor HIV, to test HIV. So this is equivalent to the total requirement of PNG for 1 year.
In the meantime, Janet Sape, Director of PNG Women in Business, is a participant of the Distinguished Visitors Program for a 10-day visit to India.
We take them around India. We make them see what India is. Perhaps give them an idea also what India was 20 years back.
So I see this as a very, very important and significant trip, and I will see India as an example that we can always follow. As you mentioned earlier, you had challenges in India, yes. But 20 years on, you're already number 3 in the world. And
Delhi Waigeno, National MTV News.
Now heading overseas, Chinese New Year celebrations kicked off around the world, welcoming in the 9th animal of the Chinese zodiac, the Year of the Monkey. Fireworks went off from Sydney to New York and Singapore, among many others, with some set to last throughout the week.
Celebrations kicked off the night before the Chinese New Year, which officially begins today. The color red was ever present, symbolizing wealth and happiness, but also to ward off bad spirits from the previous year. The Chinese zodiac has 12 animals in total, recurring every 12 years. For 64-year-old Kien Mang, a Burmese man of Chinese descent, the Year of the Monkey looks very promising.
I hope for the best in this year, as we have got new great leaders in our country. Our country will develop well with a new government and a new democratic system.
Singapore set off their first out of 9 fireworks displays yesterday, to be carried out throughout the festivities. And in New York, the Empire State Building lit up in red, while New York schools marked the day as a holiday for the first time, becoming the largest school district in the U.S. to do so. In the Philippines, roads in the capital of Manila were closed off as the local Chinese community marched in a solidarity parade, while in London, a 5-week festival was launched, although celebrations are to kick off this Sunday, described as the biggest outside of Asia.
This is the Year of the Monkey for the Chinese people. This is a special monkey and very good for us. That's why people come to pray for a good year. I also pray for good business.
Alana Lay, MTV World News.
While Papua New Guinea is yet to be better prepared to manage the Zika virus, time has seemingly run short as Queensland reports 2 confirmed cases. The 2 confirmed cases includes a child who contracted the virus while on a trip with family to Samoa. The second case was reported under 24 hours after the first, a woman on the Gold Coast who traveled to El Salvador in Central America, where the virus is spreading rapidly.
Indeed, the battle against the Zika virus outbreak is a worldwide fight. With the virus now on Queensland soil and its geographical location being much closer to PNG than before, this may prompt questions from the public whether our young nation is prepared to manage the virus if and when it eventually reaches our shores. The 2 cases in Queensland, Australia were confirmed less than 24 hours apart. The first in a Brisbane hospital where the child was taken to after returning from a family trip to Samoa. The second, a woman from the Gold Coast who contracted the virus while in El Salvador in Central America. The woman first saw a general practitioner in mid-December last year and was told she had a flavivirus, which includes dengue, yellow fever and Zika. However, she was diagnosed with the Zika infection after falling ill again, which prompted further testing of a blood sample. Queensland Chief Health Officer Dr. Jeanette Young said Southeast Queensland wasn't at risk of Zika despite 2 cases being confirmed in the region. This is because the virus is predominantly transmitted to humans through the bites of infectious Aedes mosquitoes, most commonly Aedes aegypti, the same species that transmits dengue in North Queensland. The 2 people infected have not travelled to North Queensland. Australian Health Minister Cameron Dick said the cases shows the state's Zika detection systems are working and it is likely more Queenslanders would be infected, further adding that the state needs to be ready for whatever the outcome. Meanwhile, Australia has pledged up to $500,000 in aid to Tonga to help combat the spread of the virus after an outbreak was declared last week, raising concerns in the region. Lorraine Gabina, MTV World News.
Celebrations of the world-famous Rio Carnival are expected to be bigger this year, despite the Zika virus. More than 1 million tourists are expected in Rio for the celebrations, and hoteliers say bookings have tripled from last year. CNN's Chester Darlington has this story.
Forget about Zika, forget about Brazil's economic recession. The only thing people are talking about these days is Carnival. And right here at the Sambadrome, we're right in the center of it. This is where the top-tier schools are competing in night-long parades. They go down the Sambadrome in front of tens of thousands of people in a spectacle that is broadcast live in front of millions of others. You're going to see 3-tier floats and people in bright costumes, as well as plenty of dancers wearing little more than sequins and feathers. That doesn't mean, of course, that authorities haven't tried to raise awareness about the Zika virus and the mosquito that spreads it. They've been handing out T-shirts and fans and even putting on little shows here in the Sambadrome, again, trying to raise awareness in the hopes that when all of these visitors head home, they don't take the Zika virus with them, especially because we're just 6 months out from the Olympics, and what happens here will be seen as a litmus test for what's going to happen there.
Chukai Sports is next. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. Ase Boas, the 27-year-old 5'8", who has climbed the ranks from playing for the Agmat Gurias to reaching the peak of his career as a Kumul, is humbled by the on-field experience. Ase shared this with younger brother Watson as they lined up with the Hunters. A mentor to Watson and 7 debutants, Ase Boas is one of the few seniors in the team who carries the responsibility of leading by example.
The 27-year-old bloke from mixed parentage of East New Britain and the Highlands has been an integral part of PNG Rugby League over the last few years. A representative of the PNG Kumuls, most notably in the 2013 Rugby League World Cup, and a regular feature in the Hunters program. Ase Boas has climbed the ranks from the lowest level of competition, playing for the Agmat Gurias in the Intercity Cup, to the highest in country, and now shares his on-field experience with younger brother Watson.
Yeah, I'm very excited, like playing against my smaller brother to win the team. Yeah, he selected this year too, and yeah, they're very excited with the new boys coming in, the old boys. So what will I say? Just bring it on 2016.
Acting as a mentor to Watson, Ase also carries the weight of a senior and well-reputable hunter amongst the team of almost 7 debutants.
Most of them come through the school boys level, so most of the things we line him on top there, all to line him, all to Tamlo. So when they are selected into the team, they fit in well. Yeah.
While the weekend's match against the Penrith Panthers didn't prove to be his best performance, Boas has certainly been instrumental at the halves and will continue to do so under the stewardship of coach Michael Marum. Lorraine Genia, National MTV Sports.
The Coca-Cola Ipatas Cup Southern Zone ended last weekend with 6 Mile Storms and Badili Warakos earning themselves a golden pass each to lay. Enga Governor Peter Ipatas and Coca-Cola Ipatas Cup CEO Timothy Lepper were present as well to hand out the golden passes to the winners. The golden pass is a cash prize of 10,000 kina to help teams with travel and accommodation expenses.
The two grand final playoffs saw Badili Warriors take on Vanuatu Dust in the first match. Both teams went at each other in an even battle in the first half. Badili Warriors are no strangers to the Ipatas Cup, having won a golden pass last year. This year, they made it 2 in a row. Warriors came back in the second half, trashing Vanuatu. Straight after the match, the golden pass was presented to Enga Governor Peter Ipatas to the winning captain. In the second grand final, 6 Mile Storms proved too strong for Deb Tigers, securing the second golden pass. Coca-Cola Ipatas Cup Southern leg chairman Simon Maima said the competition was a success and was happy with the organization and management over the past 2 weeks.
I have vast knowledge in managing affairs of the rugby league, so having 18 teams on board with me, it's not many teams, so I fit them into 4 days only. So it went on very well.
He also acknowledged the presence of sponsor and governor for Enga, Peter Ipatas.
I've been watching grand finals in Mosby since the Ipatas Cup was here. And he's here to watch it. I think the grand finals, is very impressed with the tournament. He's very impressed with the management. He's very impressed with how we organize in the game. That's why he's here, I know.
The winners will travel to Leh after all regions have completed their rounds of the Ipatas Cup. The Ipatas Cup Grand Final will be held in Wabeg later this year. Elijah Lavet, National EMTV Sports.
Chukai Sports continues after the break. Stay tuned.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. The SP-PNG Hunters side, captained by Noel Zemming, took on the Panthers development side, led by NRL star Jamie Soward, in much-anticipated trial match in front of a newly built full-to-capacity National Football Stadium in Port Moresby. The visitors prove unstable for the home side with a comfortable 20-12 win.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill officially kicked off the match, and it was on. The visitors wasted no time with busting runs from the forwards, creating space. That enabled Leilani Latu to cross the line for the Panthers' first try. Jamie Soward added the extras. The physical confrontation from both teams gave the spectators much to cheer throughout the night. Albert Wellington for the Panthers outfit proved menacing in defense for the visitors. However, the Hunters kept the pressure on but couldn't handle the ball well. Thompson Tete intercepted, but with a break down the line, he was taken out 20 meters short of the try line. Jamie Soward was a crowd favorite, and whenever he got close to the line, he was swarmed up by fans. Hunters in a desperate search to level the scoreboard saw Wartovo Puera Jr. controlling the ruck with quick offloads, allowing the forwards to gain meters, before Adex Wera bulldozing his way over the try line. But Ase Boas just couldn't add the extras. The scores were 4-6 just seconds to half-time. Jamie Soward showed his class with his trademark skip and dummy to drag Hunters' defense out before setting up the lurking Joss Hall to score a late try to extend their lead 12 points, leaving Hunters trailing by 4. The Hunters came out strong in the second half with 2 minutes of play, and Philemon Kimiseves scored to bring the scores up to 8. Ase Boas again couldn't convert the extras. The match continued and Panthers replied with repeated sets from Hunters' mistakes to gain meters before a cutout pass by Andrew Heffernan find winger Josh Hall to score. The final minutes of the game saw the Panthers counter on Hunters' drop balls, made it count with Maliko scoring his second of the night to bring the scores up to 20. Hunters, however, replied with a late try, but it was too little too late. Panthers defeated Hunters by 20 points to 12. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
To football, and the operational planning is well underway for Papua New Guinea to host the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in November and December this year. A team from the local organizing committee traveled to Zurich FIFA headquarters to attend meetings with their FIFA counterparts.
Travelling to the event afforded the team the opportunity for PNG's local organising committee to gauge further what needed to be done in preparation for the tournament. with a small delegation comprising of experienced staff who looked at areas of the competition in terms of medical support, security, competition management, broadcasting and media support as well. It is understood that FIFA has an established hosting model with clear guidelines, and LOC CEO Seamus Martin has stated that it is important the committee on ground in PNG understands these and provides for Papua New Guinea a solution where it becomes appropriate. The local organising committee has long since stated that the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup will provide Papua New Guinea the opportunity to showcase their ability to host a world-class sporting event. Now, with the preparations behind the scenes full steam ahead, the various countries that will be arriving in Papua New Guinea later this year will be in for a surprise. Lorraine Genia, National EMTV Sports.
That ends True Kai Sports. I'll be back with the weather details for the next 24 hours.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, cloudy with chance of showers for Port Moresby, some showers for Daru, Kerma and Popondetta, and brief showers for Alatau. In the Mumase region, some showers for Lae, Madang and Wewak, and showers later for Vanimo. In the New Guinea Islands region, brief showers for Lorengau and Kavieng, fine for Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and mostly fine for Buka. And in the Highlands region, some showers for all centres. Looking at the forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours, waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island to Kerma, to Yule Island to Hood Point, to Samurai Island with waters of Finchafen through Vietes Strait, to Long Island including CRC Islands, Dampier Strait, with waters west of Long Island to Madang, to Bogia, to Wewak, to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, and with waters of New Island to east and west New Britain to Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, with waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel, to Finchafen, and with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas. In the Coral Seas, sea slight with northwest to southwest winds at 10 to 15 knots. In the Solomon Sea, sea slight with northwest to westerly winds at 10 to 15 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, sea slight to moderate with northwest winds at 10 to 20 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas slight with northwest to northeast to northwest winds at 10 to 25 knots. Now recapping our top stories for tonight. High-profile cases appear for mention in court. Police Commissioner calls for expatriate driver to lay complaint. And Manam Islanders face starvation due to drought. And that's the news, sports and weather for tonight, Monday the 8th of February 2016. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Hope Imaka. Pleasant viewing. Good night.